Thank you for joining us at the Scottsdale Chamber podcast. I'm your host today, Mayra, and today we have a very special guest, Emiko J. Hever from the MLB Players Trust Association.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us today. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about everything that you've got going on. I know you've been doing a lot of work for 20 years. You have a lot of experience with different organizations, with charitable efforts, working with pro baseball players. And then coming up, we have our, you do a lot of philanthropy work. So we have a lot of events that you are doing, and one in specific, which I'll let you tell us about coming up.
So we have the Playmakers Classic coming up in just a couple of weeks here. It's going to be on February 18th, right in downtown Phoenix.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about your history and how you got started with this organization. Sure. And your background and how it led to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, with the exception of where I first began my career, I've been working in social responsibility really for what I would say is over the course of my entire career. And that has crossed into so many different subsectors, from arts and culture to disaster relief and recovery, social services, medical research. And now what has been for really the last 10 years of my career has been in a really unique space of professional sports philanthropy. So prior to coming on board with the Major League Baseball Players Trust just about 3 years ago, I spent 6 years working for Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, which was the 76ers and the New Jersey Devils at that time.
Oh, wow. So how did you know you wanted to get into sports and combine that philanthropy world? Because, it can be entertainment, and people don't realize there's a whole other side that makes a difference. How did you merge both of those?
Yeah, and I would say I never thought when I started my career, I didn't even know in the middle of my career that this would be where I ultimately ended up. So I knew that I always wanted to really make a lifelong journey in the nonprofit sector, in this, really work in social service. And it was through really a mutual friend of mine that I had met during my days at the Smithsonian Institution, somebody actually with Lockheed Martin, and said, hey, we do a lot of work with the 76ers. Have you thought about what a career path might look like in professional sports philanthropy? So started to explore it, and this newly created role had opened up, and just really was the right opportunity at the right time to take really, I think, the next step in a very, I would say, parallel path, but also somewhat unique step of this professional sports world.
Yeah, and I think it's not just anyone can do that. You have to have a real heart for that and for people, and to be able to make a difference, which I think is so amazing, and it says a lot about you. And I also read that you spent some time in Tokyo. So that tells me you saw a lot of different cultures and just ways of life. Did that inspire just your view of life and wanting to make a difference?
Yeah, absolutely. I had the great opportunity of going to elementary and part of middle school in Japan, and I attended an international school. So I was a minority as an American, but was exposed to so many different cultures from countries as a young 9-year-old that I hadn't even heard of previously. Some countries that don't even exist in their same form today.
Wow.
And it certainly, definitely, I would say it shaped my views of the world. And I recall a lot of those experiences even in the work that I do today. This role that I have right now with the Players Trust gives us an opportunity to work in communities here in the United States as well as across the world. So all of those life experiences that you have along the way certainly are helpful.
Yeah, that whole background and your mindset, as you go into things. I think that's so beautiful and really awesome. They got the right girl for the job, for sure. Yes. And then how is the Players Trust positioning itself as a leader in pro athlete philanthropy? Like, what are the innovative approaches that you guys are taking on as you do this?
Sure. So the Players Trust was created in 1996, and essentially we are an affiliate of the Major League Baseball Players Association. And so that's the union that represents all Major League and now minor league players. So what is the mission of the Major League Baseball Players Association? It's to, how do we add value? How do we support all of our players? So at the Players Trust, we see ourselves as an extension of that. And what is that added value? What are the benefits that we're providing to our athletes? It's how do we help them become the most impactful philanthropists that they can be? So no matter where they are in their own personal charitable journey, they may have a cause that they have an affinity for. They may have a cause that they may want to start getting themselves involved in, but don't know where to start. Or they may be someone that has their own foundation. So no matter where you are in terms of experience and really that charitable engagement journey, we're here to help. And we're here to help you really take 1 + 1 and make it 3 in terms of impact. How do we amplify that? How do we turn up the volume and reach more people and help them really find a way to generate even greater impact for those communities?
I agree. And I think that's so important because there's that life of a baseball player or an athlete in any sport. And then what happens after that? You're not always going to play baseball. You're going to, you need to find a purpose to what else you're doing and be able to make an impact. And I think that the work you're doing to help these players kind of find that sense of purpose outside, even while they're still in baseball or, whatever they're doing at the time, outside of that afterwards is so meaningful because as human beings, we want to have a sense of purpose and have a mission in life. So that's really awesome that you're doing that.
Absolutely. We say that, the players are so much more than what you see on the field. And when we speak with them and when we speak also with the many nonprofits that we work with on our players' behalf, this is an opportunity for them to work on their lifelong legacy today. This is how they are going to be remembered in a certain way. It's just the impact that they're making for the communities in which they play, the communities where they live, the communities where they call home. And that could be 3, even more different geographic locations around the globe.
Yeah.
So it's just a really great opportunity to help and lean in with them.
Yes, that's amazing. And I know you come from Philly, but you also have an office out here. You guys have an established footprint out here in Arizona. So what are some examples that the Players Trust is doing out here in Arizona to continue on this mission that you're on?
Certainly. So with the Players Trust, we want to be there for all our players as best we can. And being here in Scottsdale, in the Valley, in this area, just gives us an opportunity to be where certainly a lot of our players are. We have the 15 teams and their minor league affiliates that have a base out here in Phoenix, in the general area. We also have many players that call this area their home. Mm-hmm. So by having an office out here, it just gives us another base with which to really anchor ourselves in our work. And so we have really developed a lot of partnerships with many nonprofits here in the area, and also some larger philanthropic organizations that also have a mutual interest in trying to leverage and use the power of sport for good.
Yeah. Are there any that come to mind that we might be able to support or kind of give a shout out to?
I would say I'd love to give a shout out to an organization that was actually created by a former minor league player. His name is Coach Fuentes, and it's called Project Baseball Arizona. And so he works with young boys and girls to help them do exactly that, use the power of the game of baseball, power of softball, to really help them improve, or I should say cultivate, their lifelong learning opportunities, to help them further build their social emotional skill set through the game.
Good. That's so important. Emotional intelligence is key to life. Where do you guys see yourself in this is always like a cliche question, but where do you see yourself progressing in 5 to 10 years with this wonderful organization that you have?
I always say it's hard to go 10 years out. I like to look at it in smaller chunks of time. And part of that reason is because we want to keep ourselves nimble and be able to respond and react to the environment and to certainly what our players' interests may be at that time. So I say that a lot of the program work that we do, so a lot of what sits in our program portfolio is focused on sports-based youth development, which means what? It means how do we, again, use the power of sport to help cultivate the lifelong growth of youth. And so we have really done our best to work in partnership with our players to think outside the box. How do we get super innovative around the game of baseball, the game of softball? And so we've created a couple of programs that actually translate really well inside the classroom. So an example of that is we have a program that we've created in partnership with a nonprofit called Learn Fresh, and it's a baseball board game. So it's a baseball-inspired board game, and students have to draft their pitchers, they have to draft their hitters. It's an old-school roll-the-dice game, and it helps to just reinforce their basic math computational skills, as well as some of their social-emotional skills, like problem-solving and teamwork. So that's a way in which we really think that we've, like I said, gotten outside the box and use our sport in a way that maybe people haven't thought of before.
Yeah.
And to date, just in this last year alone, I can say that we've had well over 25,000 students here in Arizona, across the United States, Latin America, and now East Asia that are utilizing this program.
That's amazing. So it's a board game?
It's a board game.
And you can buy it? You can purchase
So
it?
it's actually only in the nonprofit space. So the way in which it works is schools as well as nonprofit organizations that are working with youth will reach out to us or reach out to our nonprofit partner, And it's a train the trainer model. So those organizations that are interested, they'll have their educators, their teachers, their staff go through a training, and then they can deploy it to their students.
Wow, because it requires a lot of learning that you're going to be teaching the kids as well. I think that's the best approach as well, to focus on the youth, because that is really the future, and you're molding these minds, these spirits, and they're going to be taking on that legacy as well and moving it forward, and then they're going to teach everybody else.
And it's
That's neat.
harnessing a passion, I think, a very common passion that our players have, which is they want to lean in and give back through the game somehow to that next generation. And this speaks literally to it, and also in a very, very unique way.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to learn than through play?
Right.
You know, that's what
right.
sticks.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about something fun that you've got coming up. So I know you have an event, the Playmakers Classic event is coming up. So let's talk about that. It's on February 18th, right? So we want to see all of you guys there. And it's going to be at Warehouse 215.
That's right.
So what can attendees expect from this event?
We're really, really proud of this event. This is the third year that we're doing it. So we're bringing it back to Arizona. Last year we were in Vegas, and we're coming back to Arizona. And this event is great. I call it the opposite of what one may think of a gala. So this is not a sit-down roundtable dinner with presentations. This is like a club lounge feel and effect where there's 3 hours of nonstop entertainment. So no matter what point in time you are there at the event, there's always something happening on the main stage. There's also a whole host of interactive and competitive games. We have a longest drive competition, a putting hole-in-one, skee ball, casino games, all these for some pretty amazing prizes. We have thousands of dollars that could be won in MGM resorts credits.
Oh, wow.
We have some really amazing prizes from our Sony as a partner, a whole bunch of really great opportunities to engage in this event. We're going to have tremendous food and wine offerings and spirit tastings. Mark Wahlberg and Michael Bublé's respective liquor brands will be offering tastings there. We have House of Brown doing wine tastings. We have Calidad Beer, which was established by a former pro baseball player. His beer is going to be offered there. I mean, it's just every 15 minutes you're going to come across some new surprise at this event.
Sounds like a party.
It's going to be a great party. There's going to be over 100 professional baseball players of current and past. They're going to be there,
Wow.
along with 300 other playmakers who all have this common shared interest in how we use sport for good.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I know I'll be there, and a lot of our team at the Scottsdale Chamber will be there, and people from the Chamber as well will be so excited to attend. And I was going to say, who's going to be there? You know, I'm sure it's the who's who of
We
town.
think it's going to be really, I think over time, we hope that it builds this brand, that this is an event that the Valley comes to know and wants to be a part of. And even if you can't get there and be there on the 18th, there's still a way to participate. We have a pretty amazing silent auction that you can participate in at home just by going to playerstrust.org. We have Super Bowl tickets for Super Bowl 2026.
Oh, wow.
We have some pretty amazing, really money can't buy autographed memorabilia, just so many things that we encourage
that's
people
so
to go
good.
check out.
That's so good. And well, with that, people that can't come and people that will come, all these people want to be involved with what you're doing because it's so amazing. What are some ways that people listening to us can get involved and contribute to what you're doing and, you know, just be part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I say visit our website, playerstrust.org. We're always updating it with the signature programs that we have, as well as the events that we have coming up, both right here in Arizona, as well as in other places around the country and around the world, really. And we have really opportunities, I would say, for folks to come in and volunteer with us as well. So that's one way. Also, if you're somebody that is connected to a school or nonprofit in the area, want to see how they might be able to deploy these programs that we have to their locations, this is also something that we'd be happy to talk about.
Oh, awesome. And then are you always the one that comes out here to represent and meet with?
So we have a team that's slowly growing. We're going to be hopefully a full-time team of 5 that lead and drive the Players Trust. So if it's not me, you'll see somebody from the program staff that'll be out here representing.
Yes, that's amazing. Well, we love that, and we want to keep in touch with you. So where are some places where people can reach you, your social media handle and anything like that?
Absolutely. So in addition to our website, playerstrust.org, also we have our own LinkedIn handle, Players Trust, and then our organization, the Major League Baseball Players Association. Also, you can follow us on MLBPA.
Well, good. Perfect. Is there anything else that you'd like us to know that we should talk about?
I would say that really this is an organization that we're working really, really hard, literally around the clock, to try and think about what are the best ways, what are the most impactful ways that we can use sport for good. And so we want to, as it relates to this area of Phoenix and beyond, we want to hear from those that are already doing great work in this space and see how we can collaborate with you.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So yes, definitely here in Scottsdale and in the greater Arizona area, if you find it in your heart that this resonates with you, reach out and get involved and help this grow. And it's going to keep being amazing. So I'm really excited for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and for being in Scottsdale with us and being part of our Scottsdale Chamber podcast and being our guest today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We appreciate the opportunity.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.